Sponsored by Tropical Acres Steakhouse.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome bay with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Tuesday. We are back on the Lunchbox. It was a long weekend for us. It's been a long week for me. You can tell that from my hair because I am a little bit of a wild child today. I feel like a regular hippie.
You're starting to look a little more like Ron DeSantis with the hair.
Don't ever.
If you grease it up a little bit, there's a
Ron
little bit of DeSantis in that hair.
Did you just compare me to Ron DeSantis?
No, I just said you're starting to look a little bit like Ron DeSantis with that hair.
Why? Because I'm chubby? Because my
No, just the way the hair is laid out. I mean, he has good hair. I'll give him that.
All right. I thought, we ended last week, a beautiful day at Gulfstream Park. A spirit of love, peace, and reconciliation was in the air.
Yeah, it's all in love. I mean, yeah. I mean, I didn't mean to, get you off the rails here right away. It's not like you're training in Ohio. You all right,
the
kid?
thing, okay, you know me. You know my political leanings. You know I don't like to discuss politics.
Well, you know ours also.
And you say that by comparing me,
but that wasn't political.
That
was just a physical comparison. It had nothing to do with
even
politics.
whether it's political or physical. You see, my blood pressure is already. I felt like it's spiking.
All right, I'm gonna lay out for a second.
We're
on
go ahead,
get us started here. Get us rolling.
Because
we have a revolution of our own to conduct this week. You know what it is.
Yes. Oh, we're going to be talking about that later. We got a lot of things on the agenda today, gentlemen.
Yes,
and first of all, welcome back. I hope everybody had good weekends. I know you've been doing your morning shows. I've been enjoying that. But you know what we're on the edge of today? Well, two things today. First of all, to all our Jewish friends, and I'm talking to you, Defo and Lubie.
Oh, I was wondering.
Happy Purim. And this is, I have a bag of homemade Hamantash in here that my aunt in New York, Aunt Alice Mayo, my dad's half sister, bakes every year her own Hamantash, and they're very little and dainty. And this one is filled with apricot or apricot, as some. Do you say apricot or apricot there?
Apricot. Seems a little bit uppity. Apricot Hamantash. Nice.
And
home baked.
She bakes them every year. She sends them by express mail, so she pays a pretty penny to get them to us.
Wow.
And I just want to say, and I just hear the old woman on the old Neil Rogers show saying, "Happy Purim, everybody."
So now, what's the deal on Purim? That's the one where you have the Grogger and Haman as the evil character. I love that. I love going to shul for Purim with the Grogger thing, man. That was great.
I hate to give you Judaism lessons, but pretty much like every other holiday on the Jewish calendar, it's they tried to kill us, they failed, let's eat. But in this case,
well, it's a good theme for the Lunchbox.
In this case, it's not just let's eat. Purim is like the one calendar on the Jewish, the one holiday on the Jewish holiday calendar where the kids dress up in costumes. There's carnivals. I drove by. I drove by a synagogue in Hollywood last night. There's a big carnival set up. Everybody's festive, but I think the adults are encouraged or supposed to get drunk. It's the one holiday of the year where
you better get busy.
No, I'm because
not on Manischewitz. Not on Manischewitz, huh? Was that the first wine you ever drank, Manischewitz? It was mine.
Of course, at a Passover Seder.
Yeah, I didn't drink wine for another 16 years after that.
That was when I was 6 years old. I had a little sip, then put it with a little club soda, and it was like, and those were back in the days with the real siphon bottles, and it was like having a little bit of a.
And it was only 10 cents a glass back then, not $5.
That's right, better. Grape Manischewitz with a little shot of seltzer when you're 6. There's nothing better, my friend.
Is cough syrup better than the cherry Manischewitz? There was a cherry, there was grape.
I had grape. I grew up with grape. Yeah. So
no matter how much sponge cake you dipped in it, it was really hard to get by, the overall taste of that stuff. Yeah. I would have to say. Very sweet. Very sweet.
Purim is again one of the few holidays where I think the Jewish tradition is to get drunk, but not for me because the fake Catholic in me for Lent has given up alcohol, as you know, and I'm at 15 days with an asterisk. And I don't know, we're going to have to go to a ruling on this, but I don't know if there's any exemptions. But yesterday, After the services, and we paid our final respects to my poker buddy Sean, and I did mention this on the show last week, and I put up a post yesterday on Let's Eat. I was very, it was gratifying to see such a response because he was a good eater and he was a member of the group and obviously a big supporter of the Lunchbox show. And actually, I talked to Brian at Wicked Cheesesteaks today, and he said Sean would come in there occasionally.
Oh, really?
Described him as a good eater. He said, "Yeah, I knew that guy. He came in here sometimes." And again, very sad, untimely passing at age 48. But the services were nice, and but basically afterwards, a group of the poker buddies, we did play a tournament last night at the Hard Rock in his honor, and we gathered in the cigar bar there, where it's a very nice atmosphere, and we all had one drink. And in my case, I say it was medicine, not necessarily alcohol. I kind of needed it last day for
this phony Catholicism, though. You can make exceptions, Michael. It doesn't matter. You're not violating anybody's rules except
but in my own heart, I wanted to go. Like, okay, I figured there was going to be the exception for this wine dinner coming up at that new South restaurant.
There's exception number 2,
and then the exception number 3 is going to be tomorrow because we're having another gathering for Sean at that Tropics restaurant, that Guyanese Caribbean place on Pines Boulevard, where we would often gather and celebrate.
So you're 15 days into it. 20% of the time you're cheating, like most husbands. Sounds like a typical marriage. 20%.
No, I had one drink last night, and it was medicine because it was just calming and soothing and therapeutic after a very traumatic day. It's traumatic.
So what'd you have? A little Chateauneuf de Pape, a little red wine?
No wine. No. This was in the cigar bar, and I have an old fashioned made with Michter's rye. Guess how much they charge for a Michter's rye old fashioned at the
$11.
$22. And now they
nice.
That's a reason to give up drinking.
That's a long way from
your. Are you kidding me?
It's a long way from your Manischewitz with 2 cents plain. That's for sure. But it was an excellent tasting drink, especially first alcohol to pass my lips in over 2 weeks.
I have a better question for you. When was the last time you had Manischewitz wine?
Probably
once you had it as a kid, I mean, you would never ingest it again. And then like Iago Sangria came along, and that was it for Manischewitz. That was off the shelf. Ripple, I think, was a viable alternative. No, Thunderbird.
Yeah, I mean, Night Train.
But I mean, would you go out of your way to drink a Manischewitz? Like if somebody offered you a glass right now, would you drink it?
There would be only one instance in which I would drink a Manischewitz. It's a Passover Seder. That's the last time I had one.
Okay.
Our family circle, a bunch of cousins and everything up in New York, used to get together for Passover every year. It used to be at one of our relatives' houses, and then after they moved, and then we had it at another one's, and then it went to a hotel ballroom for a while, and then it eventually just faded away like all of us. But at Passover Seders, when you're compelled to drink,
is that the only wine that is drinkable at a Passover Seder?
We have a nice Moscato that is kosher for Passover, and I think there's some other white wines.
Kosher for Passover.
I tell you what, there are some very good kosher wines now being produced out of Israel. Okay. And I think last year I might have gotten a kosher wine for our Passover table, and I did forsake the Manischewitz because let's face it, I'm
terrible.
Really nice.
Yeah.
If you were being asked to rat out a friend, you probably, and that would be the determining factor. Is this Manischewitz? Okay, listen, it was Lou. He was there. That was it.
And if it's, if you're one of those like me that tries to watch their blood sugar content, the Manischewitz
probably doesn't help there either.
Exceptionally sugary, exceptionally sweet wine. Hey, speaking of blood sugar, the other thing I want to celebrate today is, we're backwards here. I was asking this morning on the group, and let's see if you could figure out why. This is
turn it around the other way.
100 grand.
No, not that way.
I gotta flip my
candy bars. It looks like a bag of candy bars.
100 grand.
100 grand. Remember, it used to be named the $100,000 bar, Defo.
No, I'm not really not familiar with it. I mean, I've heard of the 100 grand, but I don't know about the 100,000.
Back in the day, it used to be known as the $100,000 bar. I remember a commercial jingle.
Was it a desirable candy? Would you go out of your way to get it?
It made you feel like 100 grand, which back in the day was like $1 million.
Yeah, easily.
100 grand bar has it's caramel.
It's not the good, like the creamy caramel. It's the really thick caramel. That's my only problem.
It says rich caramel, milk chocolate.
Well, what possessed you to buy these?
Let me give you. Let's see. Some people are exceptionally dense. I guess Defo is one of them. What have I been talking about? What have I been talking about the Let's Eat group for the last day?
Oh no, are we there?
What was that? No,
it might be any second. Remember, we're trying to get to 100,000.
Oh, this was the incentive. Oh, the 100 grand. Okay.
See, get it?
That was not an easy connection to make there. I don't know about
really
being the appropriate.
I'm like, it's candy bar day. I'm
characterizing it. Yeah. The hell,
100,000. I've been talking about.
I thought you would have grabbed.
By the way,
just as easily. Yeah.
The over players are a big winner because I set the over under date as 100,000. May 5th. I'm sorry, March 5th. I thought we were going to smash it by like the 4th, the way we were going. And then all of a sudden, Facebook must have put the brakes on it.
It's always hard, when you're one away from the record. You know this. I mean, look what happened with Asmussen, right? We had 9,999 career wins, a phenomenal number, but 10,000 every race for like 50 races in a row. They're like, well, this could be the one. And it took him a while. And Judge needed 62. He sat on 61 for a long period of time. I mean, it's always tough to get that one, the record breaker.
I keep clicking refresh because it could happen any minute. And if it does happen on the show, I'm going to have a big celebration by not only eating $100,000 grand or 100,000.
You have to eat the whole bag if it happens.
No, but I was going to throw the whole bag up like confetti. And just,
nice, man.
So photograph that moment. But it could happen now. It might not happen now. We'll see what happens. But
that's a milestone, though. When you started out, could you have ever anticipated this? You and Gretchen there. I mean, what are you thinking? If you got 10,000, it'd be enormous.
And look, the thing is, it sometimes produces a little bit of aggravation. What's the Yiddish word? The tsuris. Agita. Tsuris is the word. Like this past weekend, we had another situation. The last 2 weeks, we've had a very interesting post where people would come on making, kind of these damaging allegations about mismanagement or horrible things that occurred. This last weekend was at the Kaluz restaurant, the one on the Intracoastal, which I've never been a big fan of.
I saw that post. Yeah.
And then
a lot of people really like that place so much.
Really loves
it's probably not a place I go out of my way to go to, but I've been there many times, and a lot of people really like it. I mean, the setting and everything, and they say the food, is really good, which it isn't bad. It's a little pricey.
It's on the Intracoastal. It's right there on the west side of the Intracoastal at the bridge of Commercial Boulevard. I went there because a lot of people rave about it. I went there one time for lunch with my daughter, and I got to say, I was not impressed. I was not impressed with
There's
the
an
service.
inland location now too, right?
At Plantation.
The
Plantation Walk, the same place that has the Pepe's Pizza. Speaking of pizza spot reopens today after their little break. So,
good.
For those that want to get their fix of Wade's delicious New Haven style pizza, go check it out again. But no, the Kaluz Inland Plantation. This is a Kaluz Inland up in Wellington. So they've expanded their brand. I'd call it kind of like in that Houston's vein, where it's that kind of modern American upscale, fish dishes, some steak dishes.
Burgers,
high-end drinks. You could probably get a $22 old fashioned. It might be 19, but it's going to be up there. I'm telling you, Michael, people really love the place. I mean, I don't know that it's controversial. I would imagine when your Let's Eat thing, most people liked it
because of the setting, and it's right on the Intracoastal. They love it. I thought the food was thoroughly mediocre. I thought it's overpriced. I didn't think it was that exceptional in terms of service, but it has its fans, and I'm not going to, sit here and say, don't go. I'm going to sit here and say...
What was left? Were the bathrooms clean? I mean, you really... Gosh, on this place. Everything stinks.
I was not impressed with the quality of the food, and that's, I'm about food, and it just seemed like everything was out of... Like, I got one of those seared tuna things on a salad, and it just seemed like it was right out of a cryovac bag. It didn't taste fresh at all. The dressing itself was overly sweet.
I wouldn't go that deep into condemning the place, but I would agree with you that, like I said, I think it's, for the money, there are better offerings. That's for sure. I didn't think the food was terrible. I thought it was fine, but it wasn't really worth that kind of money.
My aunt's Hummintosh are getting to me. I guess they were a little bit on the crumbly side. But
could be the candy bars. Could be the candy bars. Have you had a couple?
I didn't eat any of these yet. I just opened the bag, and I keep hitting refresh. We got a lot of business to attend to, and I wanted to talk about my trips in the last week. Over the weekend, went to Aruba Beach Cafe.
Tried some new spots. Yeah,
we're going to be going. Not new,
and some old ones. Yeah,
but Deck and Spice was the new spot I tried. We'll talk about that. We're very excited because this week it looks like we are going to be going to that Esposito's New York pizza Italian restaurant, also known as. Not to make fun of it,
we want everyone
the home of the roach pizza. But no, we love
this wine thing is disturbing. What happened to this guy? It really is. The more I think about it, the more it bothers me. And then we had him on the show, and I understand his position, but I really can't agree with it. I just think it's terrible to do that to somebody on a one-shot deal like that, especially here in Florida, where it's not that uncommon. I mean, if it's a repeat offender, and you're thinking, "Wow, I don't want to eat in this place," it's ensconced with filth. That's one thing. But, I mean, the one shot, investigating, the inspectors come out there. I mean, there are a lot of places that are very, very high end that have gone through that same thing. I don't think it's fair to characterize them as dirty dining based on that.
Oh,
I really don't.
Yeah, that was my problem with the whole segment. The professor's not going to be able to make it, but if we ever make ourselves back out there, then we'll do what he wanted to do. But I hope as many people come out as possible. I mean, Joe did.
We want a revolution. We want everybody out there.
No, I spoke with Joe.
Will you be giving away Mike Mayo Lunchbox T-shirts?
No, but I might be giving away 100 grand bars. So anybody who comes out will get a free 100.
Try the pizza.
But that's going to be this Thursday. And again, for those who missed it, this restaurant that's been there almost 20 years, serving all kinds of good pizza, an Italian restaurant, and the interior is nice. They redid it. It's not just a, like a strip mall pizza shop. It's actually a nice sit down restaurant, and it was very well appointed in there. It was very clean when I went in there for lunch. And Joe Lay is the owner. That fortunately he was the only one that got dinged that week by the health department, and Jeff Weinzier, because I guess they are compelled to produce a segment, but without noting that it was their first shutdown, or first bug related offense ever. It's one of those things that, when it happened and Joe didn't handle it in the best possible way at the time, he admits that now. But he, look, the business.
He had every right to be upset. I mean, they basically made him Bill Buckner or Jackie Smith. One play, and it doesn't undo 20 years of good work.
No,
it just can't. It shouldn't qualify as that. And the people take it very seriously because they believe everything that they see on TV. But it's not like you went in there. I mean, would you have even thought for a second, whoa, this place, I tell you what, when was the last time they cleaned off the tables here? I mean, it was probably spotless.
No, it was spotless, and I had lunch, and I had pizza, and I had some other items, and everything tasted fine to me, and there were no ill effects, and I took a full tour of the kitchen. So happy to do a show there this Thursday and try to kind of just talk a little bit more. Talk a little bit more about the place's virtues and the good things they've done over the years. And again, they have two styles of pizza. They have kind of the thin crust coal-fired, the kind that you get at the Tono's and Patsy Grimaldi's pizza in New York. But then they also have kind of like the slice joint kind of pies. So different varieties for different people. So looking forward to that on Thursday. We'll talk a little bit more with Joe. And for everybody who wants to come out that Thursday, come on out. I'll give you 100 grand bar, and it's on University Drive in Davie, just south of 595, right across from the Tower Shops there. So it's in that shopping plaza that has.
It's worth the schlep though for the cause, because that was terrible. Lubie tells me that they're still off by like 40% of their business.
Well, Mayo tells me. Mayo,
he
very hard to overcome that. That's really, really. Grossly unfair what happened to this man. It really is.
It's look, he says partly his own fault because of the way he reacted and responded on camera. That might have left a negative impression with people, but he's given up his profuse apologies, and I really dug the guy and his explanation of things when he came.
Well, he's a New Yorker too, so he says, he looks to Weinzier and he says, "Your mother." I mean,
your mother.
I've been doing that since I was 5 years old. Yeah, I mean, some guy steals your stuff, you go, your mother.
Weinzier can do whatever he wants. They're skulking around the back of a restaurant. You understand? The back of the restaurant is literally the haven for the people who work at the restaurant. Like, all of us have been involved in restaurants before. The back of the house is where you go to bitch about the customers. It's where you go to bitch about the managers. If those who smoke cigarettes smoke the cigarette outside, away from
in the alleyway. Yeah, back in the back
door. Where you hang out, and he knows that. And it was, I'm sorry, we don't use this language. D-baggy. And I asked him it, and he didn't defend himself at all. He was honest. He's like, yeah, we want the natural. You mean we want them to be in the raw essence of piss? Okay,
it feels.
You'll
like...
appreciate this, Michael. Outside the kitchen of the Seawain Country Club in Hewlett Harbor, where I worked very briefly one summer, we had a craps game going on outside the door there.
Exactly.
They had a perfect wall, man. We're shooting dice. The waiters are on a break in between seatings, and boom. I mean, you can make a lot of money there. A lot of tip money went up.
That's fine as long as you're using nice clean dice for your craps game. It's better than having any cockfights with the chicken that's used for the chicken parmesan or anything like that.
No roaches.
Look, I mean, it is what it is. It's just,
we might have had a few roaches from what we were smoking out there.
Yeah,
in the back, but that was
kind of roaches.
Come out in mass to support Joe and what they're doing because
please come out. Now it's just south of 595. You say on University Drive in Davie.
Costco, the tower shops. There's a Costco. There's a Chick-fil-A.
Well, it's across the street from that Twin Peaks and the tower shops. It's in the shopping plaza that has a Runners.
This is our first cause on the show, too. Our first cause.
And a Burger King is.
Oh, I know the place. Okay, I know where it is.
Barbecue right in there.
Yes, south. Well, Mission Barbecue is a little further south, but this is just before you get to Nova Drive. It's on the right-hand side, western side of the street on University, right past the plaza that has the Hobby Lobby, which I won't get into that, but yeah, like you said, it's I think Las Patas is in that same plaza. I keep hitting refresh, and it keeps saying stuck 99.9. It's been 99.9 for about
maybe they won't let you get to 100,000. Is that
maybe that's it? Maybe the way Facebook caps your friends at 5,000.
Right.
Maybe they cap groups at 99,999. And if they did that, I bought this bag.
Lose a lot of money on the bet. Yeah. The underplayers are thrilled with Zuckerman.
Hey, should we take a break first, or do you want to have a contest winner? I got 16 names.
Let's take a break first, because it extends the excitement, prolongs the excitement. Yeah.
I got 16 names in the hopper.
Wow.
I'm not supposed to root for anybody or not. But
you do, though. You have rooting interests.
There's a couple of names in here. And again, I respect our audience. The fact that not only have they gotten the gist of this contest, which Defo thought it was hopeless. He thought it was harder than trigonometry.
When you explain it the first time, honestly, Michael, and I've done a million radio contests, and there's always, qualifiers and, clarifications that have to be read and disclaimers. I thought there was no way anybody would ever get this. Never.
And yet they're getting it. And I think this week we had 31 different entries. And because the chalk won the Fountain of Youth, it was Forte. It ended up being 16 names in the hat. And I'm rooting for, it seems like a bunch of people have been in the hat like 4, 5, 6 times.
Well, the odds are good then.
Some really good, loyal viewers of the Lunchbox. So, yeah, it's only natural that I would hopefully that one of these days I'll pull one of their names out of the hat. But this is
I'll show you the technique so that you can pull the name of the person that you want to win the contest.
No, we don't do that.
Because you're getting a piece of the action. You're not going to do that. You don't want to taint the contest.
We're not going to do that. I'm a man of integrity.
Yeah.
And, we're going to do
or you could just pull any name out and then read the name of the guy that you want.
Legit.
Who's going to double check that, right?
The hat in a minute. Hey, but first I want to talk about our monthly remotes. We're going to be a few weeks going to our friends at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. And
that is good.
It's going to be this month. We're going to be out there on Thursday, March 23rd. And we're going to be talking about the upcoming holidays, the spring holidays, the Passover and Easter. If I was prepared, I'd know the exact dates that they started, but I'm going to say both of them are in early April at some point. So we're going to be doing the March 23rd show, talking about all the things that you could fill your holiday tables with from the great stuff they have at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Talking about things like for Passover, they make their own gefilte fish in-house. And I know you sometimes make a face there, Defo, but
it's not something I eat. That's all.
I mean, like
it's okay. I know people love it, but
brings me back to my roots. Gives me a nice fresh piece of gefilte fish made from like a fresh pike or carp, and then you put a little bit of that. You got to use the purple horseradish for the Passover holidays. It gives that matzah, that little bit of that kind of fits with the theme of the whole Egyptian blood. That you have the red horseradish with the gefilte fish on a piece of matzah with a little bit of the bitter herbs. Chef's kiss. That is the.
I'm laughing because you lost me at gefilte fish. I mean, gefilte probably was enough. That was it for me. Of course,
I'm out on that. Now they have also the great meats and chicken, and if you make turkey, I don't know what people make for the Passover meal, you can make a brisket. They'll have
brisket is the big thing. Yeah, brisket.
Brisket and chicken.
Brisket and chicken. You'll find those in abundance, fresh and plentiful, highest of quality. And of course, for the Easter table coming up, lamb. That you can get your whole leg of lamb or your lamb loin chops. So however you want it, they will have it ready for you to go at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. Go to DelawareChicken.com for their weekly specials along with their daily offerings. And you know what they've got. I mean, it's unbelievable in there. They got the whole display cases of the steaks and the meats, the poultry, the chicken, and of course, the seafood, the fish, some of the freshest stuff you can find. It's practically flapping in the case. Some of those whole fish they bring in from the Keys, the snapper. And then, of course, you could have them fillet it for you there, skin it, fillet, and even prepare and cook some things there. You could get lobster there, steam it off so you don't even have to cook at home. You just go home and have some side dishes that you could also grab and go there. They got the great fish dip. I love Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. I've been a customer for more than 30 years. I cannot wait to go back. Check them out. They're open 7 days a week. They have curbside delivery, quality, value, freshness. That's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox crew sent you.
Well, and you'll see us out there because, you can't wait to go back. It was an overwhelmingly impressive presentation for Doug and the crew there. And then the people couldn't have been any nicer. And it wasn't like they were just being nice to us because I noticed all of the customers were being treated with the same sort of joyful approach and very helpful approach.
Yeah, that whole, that family-owned, long-time business that, you don't get that kind of customer service that they actually know you. They'll ask about your kids. They'll ask about, how things are going, and they know your order.
Are awesome. Yeah,
well, the prices are very competitive, which I like.
Prices are fair. They especially when it comes to their poultry products is really good.
Wow,
seafood is one of those things that you gotta, the quality. It's getting harder and harder for all the fishermen out there, but they support all the local fishing industries, and again, you'll get competitive pricing, and they always have some flash sales on things that came in and they want to move and sell. And you know what? Not only are they great to work with for the customers, but even for us. I mean, since we've been on board, they've made us feel nothing but welcome. I love the way they get involved with social media and always want to get involved with our, all the different, the appearances. And they're a pleasure to deal with in every respect. So go check them out.
Yep.
I want to support them. Yeah.
All right, we're coming back with more Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Mike's been to a couple of places. One he hadn't tried, one an Old Standard, and we'll talk about all of that and more here in just a moment.
When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial. Serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. you'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. We're back on the Lunchbox. It's a Tuesday. I've got a horse in my throat again. I don't know what's going on. I would rather be betting horses.
Did you shovel a couple of those candy bars?
No,
down while you were away there for a second.
Just this bronchitis can be pesky. I guess I got to get the rescue inhaler.
You know what was weird about that? That train wreck where they had the toxic waste, go up in flames in Ohio.
No.
What is it, Palestine, Ohio, or something like that?
They pronounce it East Palestine, not Palestine.
Something like that. They were saying that one of the side effects that they were seeing in evidence was that it caused some people to have acute bronchitis, and I thought of you.
Oh, there you go.
I thought you may as well be ensconced in toxic waste, Mayo. Unbelievable.
Some days I feel like my life is not being ensconced.
Some people would have thought those city columns, Huizinga took exception to the things you said.
Some chefs might have thought some of my reviews were ensconced in toxic waste.
Always very fair and balanced, I thought your reviews were. I always appreciate
I thought I was eating toxic waste, although...
Well, you even compared that one steak to toxic waste, right? When you had that place in New Jersey? Yeah.
It was a short rib platter that was served over, it was a thing. It was a mountain that looked.
It was one of your great lines ever written by you.
Yeah, and it had
a little cruel there, Weinstein.
Shredded horseradish. It was at a place called Upland, and it was like this $95 short rib beef platter that was piled high. This was $95 back in like 2016 or 17.
That's super steep, yeah.
Which these days would be like $195, and it was just short rib. It's not the most expensive cut. It's one of those meats that needs to be simmered and stewed for days in order to get it slow cooked to get it soft. But I just said, the thing when it was presented, it looked like the garbage mountain at the Fresh Kills landfill in Staten Island.
Sure, that was appreciated by all involved with the restaurant.
The only thing missing from the platter were like the seagulls and the hawks flying overhead and circling.
You could have made a sound effect. You just would have had the bird noise in there.
Not appreciated by the chef and proprietors.
All right, here we go. You weren't welcome back.
16,
what do you got? The drawing.
We got 16 in the hat.
This is for lunch for two, 10 palms. The buffet for two, which is great.
All right, and let's do a recap because the
a good piece of handicapping by you on the second place horse.
This was
the problem you had was that Forte. Is it Forte or Fort? Because that horse looked magnificent on the track.
Forte is Italian for strong. Mike Rapoli Stables, along with
or what is your forte? It's writing about food, Mike Mayo.
Forte would be strength as a noun. Is what is your forte, but just in the language of Italian and Spanish, it's forte means strong, right?
Okay.
It's an adjective. And they named this horse who looks really forte, really strong for the Kentucky Derby, and the Florida Derby will be his next start, and will be there at Gulfstream all the Fridays leading up to the Kentucky to the Actually, through the Kentucky Derby.
Kentucky
We're
Derby.
committed now. Yeah, it's great. So,
Give us that easy.
but so Forte
Keep
was
working on that deal, by the way, Mike. Keep talking to Joseph. He
it's
loves
a
it.
handshake deal. You know, things are going very well.
Yeah.
So
He's
we're all
highly
happy.
sought after there. They like
This week we had it was funny because this is the first week where there were multiple people who entered who got the restaurant name wrong.
Oh yeah,
wow. One person, a couple of people.
How could you get it wrong? You gave it away in the second clue. I mean, it was.
I don't know. I
you
thought
couldn't
the
miss
clues
it after
were
that.
pretty obvious, but you know,
Even if you never heard of it, you would have entered, the name of the restaurant.
gave the name.
Yeah.
You said it's not Everett.
Right. I said it was not Christy Turlington or Christy
Turlington or Brinkley.
Brinkley,
right. Or
the former fat governor from New York.
I got it. Okay, so one person put Ruth Christie's Steakhouse. I was like, no, that can't be acceptable. There's no Ruth Christie's.
And then got the horse right. That would have been even more.
Yeah. Well, no, luckily all the ones who had the wrong restaurant names also got the wrong horses. One of them, somebody sent in a name of a horse that wasn't even running in the Fountain of Youth. It was the filly that finished off the board. They were struggling with names. They were struggling with the actual races. But and then somebody put in. Okay, this is odd. There's another high-end steakhouse that's come into the Gables that has a good reputation now called Perry's Steakhouse. Two people sent in Perry's Steakhouse. I was like, it's not Christy Perry. It's not Governor Chris Perry. They must have had him confused with that other Texas governor.
That was the only clue. I mean, I'm familiar with the name of the restaurant. Obviously, it's a fabled place, but I didn't get it right away because Coral Gables has been sort of out of the circle for me for dining. I used to dine there quite frequently, and they have a lot of great restaurants there, and they've really stepped it up. I mean, around the Miracle Mile. Although one of my favorites wasn't Randazzo's there at one time along the Miracle Mile segment.
Yes,
they moved somewhere else, and that was a place that always everybody that wanted to go for a great lunch. They were open for lunch. They had really, really a great Italian lunch there at Randazzo's.
So a couple of things. That Randazzo's not related to the Randazzo's.
The guy that's a boxer, right?
Yeah, but this one, I forget his name, but it was a couple. They are still in operation. They're out on Key Biscayne. They're on Crandon Boulevard. Nice. So that Randazzo's is
their
still
stuff looks good too. It really does.
They moved from Coral Gables to Key Biscayne. Unfortunately, we don't have an excuse to go there anymore during the tennis tournament because the tennis tournament isn't at Key Biscayne anymore. No. That was always the one thing about the whatever you called it.
What's good around the stadium? That'll be a big question. What's good around the stadium?
I like the Awash Ethiopian restaurant. But anyway, getting back to so that Randazzo is not related to Sheepshead Bay Randazzo's, but also this is a good Italian restaurant. And again, the name of the restaurant, Christie's with a Y. I give props. Everybody I think who was in the hat correctly spelled the name. I think there were a couple of people who spelled it with an IE, but they didn't have the winning horse, so I didn't have to go to the tiebreaker or the judge. I mean, I would have let them in the hat.
I would have let them in. Yeah, spelling is not a requirement.
Yeah. So anyway, I have the winner here. I picked it out, and now
you picked it while we weren't watching. That makes it very suspicious.
Wow,
no. Did you want me to go back? I didn't.
No. I mean, but you had you already had a self-proclaimed rooting interest in certain people, and then all of a sudden, the machine that spins the tickets is no longer available, and now you have a winner in your hand. So let's see. Is it one of the people you were in favor of?
Let's see who it is.
That'll open us up. I mean, I'm going to have to get Lipschitz. He's our attorney. He's on retainer.
First of all, let's not fuel any conspiracy theories. Everything here is on the up and up. However, I mean, there were two names I was really rooting for because of their involvement with the Let's Eat group, and they've been in the hat multiple times. This is one of the multiple time people, so I'm happy for them. I don't happen to know her in person. But Barbara Schwartz, congratulations.
All right,
Barbara Schwartz.
Nice job.
You are the winner of 2 Sunday brunch buffet vouchers, passers to the beautiful 10 Palms restaurant at overlooking Gulfstream. You'll just choose a date. I will notify you by email, but pick a date between now and the end of April for a Sunday, and you get you and a dining partner will get the full range of the buffet items, including desserts, and you get 1 mimosa thrown in. You also get tax and tip included, but we always encourage a little bit extra on the side for those who take care of you. I know we had one of our winners go out there this past week, and I didn't hear back yet, But I think we've got 2 of them going out this week. So it's a
you can't be
never-ending
disappointed
procession.
if you're getting that thing for free. And then
that's amazing.
Joe Beige has become. I mean, we have a lot of great people we've run across in the food industry. It's one of the nice kind of sidebars of being on the Lunchbox, because we run into a lot of great people and they're very dedicated. But Joe Beige is as impressive as anybody in the food business, especially with the undertaking that he has of trying to organize all of this stuff at essentially a stadium, a racetrack, and it does a hell of a job, man. Everything he's put out so far has been great.
Every week putting out something different. Of course, he did a tremendous job with the Pegasus World Cup this year, and they brought in all these restaurants and purveyors from out of the Gulfstream Casino, and a guy like Fulvio Sardelli from Hollywood. He was up there cooking for some of the VIPs in the Flamingo Room. That whole Grutman Entertainment hospitality group that besides Club Live at the Fontainebleau, they have all kinds of restaurants. I think it's I can't even. Komodo is one of them down in Brickell. They run some pretty top-notch, high-end, fun restaurants, and they came in during the Pegasus. Everybody was singing the praises of the job that Joe and Gulfstream did, and now it just goes on as we build towards the Florida Derby on April 1st. And, they're having these other food events tied in with some of these big racing days, which I think makes perfect sense, just the way we tie in the contest with us.
They had tacos and tequila. It's funny you brought it up. None of us were able to make it, but I saw a bunch of friends of mine who just went on their own and raved about it. Like said,
they went because they saw us on the Lunchbox, right?
Yes, but I'm saying
sure they mentioned Mike Mayo as they walked through the door there. Mayo sent me.
They said Lunchbox.
Yeah. No, that's great, and they're doing a nice job there. Speaking of mentioning my name as they walk through the door, I spoke to Brian this morning out at Wicked Cheesesteaks, and I love Brian, not just because now he's put on that roasted pork and provolone and broccoli Rob sandwich.
Really agrees with you over.
Okay, good. Well, Shirley has taste, unlike
we were just saying the comparison, I mean, only under the auspices of what should be Philadelphia's signature sandwich.
Yeah,
and but the comparison of a cheesesteak and that sandwich was not really that close.
They're both sandwiches. They both contain meat and cheese.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair comparison.
But it's Checkers versus Cheffer Eats, which is going to be on Guy Fieri's show.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You can come at me with all the ammunition you want. I mean, they're not really similar sandwiches. They're just not.
So you saw I sent you a couple of clippings from various food.
Trying to justify your position as usual. You're very defensive about your position.
And I think it's kind of common wisdom now in the food community that it is a better sandwich. And not only
it probably is.
Brian made
quality.
it.
Yeah.
And I actually did some research today because somebody posted from another one of my favorite cheesesteak places down here. Great guy also, Sonny's Famous Steak Hoagies in Hollywood. Yeah. And I went back. It was actually 6 years ago. I did a review of them for the Sun Sentinel. It was 2017.
Was it favorable?
And because somebody posted something showing one of their cheesesteaks, and it's again one of those polarizing places. Some people love it. It's been there 65 years. They're celebrating their 65th anniversary in Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to go out there for that. John and Marilyn, great couple, and he took it over from his dad, who founded the establishment. That's Sonny's Famous Steak Hoagies in West Hollywood. And some people were saying, "Oh, that place is terrible," but I reread my review, which was basically an homage to it, and I was saying, if you're like me and you don't necessarily think the cheesesteak is the greatest thing since sliced bread, what they do have out there also is like a chicken parm that's great, and they do a cheeseburger hoagie. So it's like a cheeseburger that they cut in half and they put it on the two sides of the hoagie. And both of those are outstanding at Sonny's. And I read back through that review I wrote, and even John Nigro himself, who runs the establishment, his father was the late Sonny, said that when I asked him Pat or Gino's, do you know what his response was?
Neither.
Neither. He said both are terrible. And he said the best sandwich is the roast pork with broccoli Rob. He's told that to me 6 years ago. It's stuck. So I'm not to belabor the point.
Look, I'm not being critical of it. I'm saying that if I'm going to get a cheesesteak and they handed me that as an alternative, even though it's a great sandwich and delicious on its own, I wouldn't consider it an alternative to the cheesesteak because it's nothing like a cheesesteak.
They're very different sandwiches.
Yeah, they're different sandwiches. I appreciate people who enjoy each one of them. And look,
I'm a big cheesesteak fan. I am. I love that sandwich. It was great. Brian did a great job, but I don't think they're in the same category.
Both Brian at Wicked Cheesesteaks and John at Sonny's Heroes both love the cheesesteak sandwich because it's their bread and butter. I mean, that's what people come in there for. But on the food side, they're with me because they know that there are people that also like to mix it up a little bit, and they enjoy. It's a very labor intensive sandwich. John has never attempted to make one at Sonny's, and Brian, to his credit, probably because I was giving him encouragement, has pulled it off.
How's it going? Are they selling out?
Yeah, that's why I was asking. I was like, "Is it selling?" Because I don't want to have to be pulled off the menu, and I'd understand if it doesn't sell, it's got to go. That's the way it's a brutal business. He said that he sold a bunch of them over the weekend.
All right,
he's pleased with it. He's printing up actual new menus now because he's debuting a couple of new items, and the Wicked Mike will be on there with the pork and provolone. So I encourage everybody to go try it. You might like it. If you don't like the bitter broccoli rabe, just hold the broccoli rabe. Maybe he'll put the long hot peppers on it, or just do some other hot peppers. I'm sure he could adjust a sandwich. Modifications are accepted at Wicked Cheesesteaks. That's one.
And those cheese covered tater tots. Those are
those are great.
Come on, Brian.
Those were great. Yeah,
I mean, he must have a deal working with Holy Cross over there, because those were so delicious. You couldn't stop eating them. And then you should have a cardiologist appointment right after that. I think
we're still at 99.9. I
don't think you're going to exceed 100,000. I think Zuckerman, whatever Zuckerberg, is that his name?
Zuckerberg. I'm gonna have to petition him.
I'm not sure which it is, but it's a Zucker.
If we're stuck at 99.9, this is going to be a very.
You have to start a new page. Yeah.
I mean, we could start Alt LESF, and then we could curse and just be very uncivil toward each other.
Yeah.
That would be an idea.
It wouldn't be good if they unleashed you with foul language on this thing, because you do seem like you're on the verge of some kind of breakdown with some of these posts. And you take them, really, overwhelmingly seriously. I guess you have to. It's your baby, but
so the two things that happened that I didn't really finish the story with Toulouse, and then one of our favorite places with the Catherine last weekend, is that people came on there with these big gripes. In the case of Toulouse, a woman said that she had some shards of a broken plate in her main course,
piece of glass in there.
And the Catherine, the complaint was that there was condensation, water dripping from an AC vent. But in both of these cases, people chimed in who were apparently there the same night and witnesses, and basically said that the behavior of the people who posted was kind of out of line and outrageous, and that it just casts doubt on versions of stories. And I think it's just a good reminder that I want to trust and believe people who are on the group, but it's still, there's two sides to every story, and usually there's three sides to every story, and somewhere the truth lies somewhere in between.
Like that lady that said she had the heart attack or something and had to be carted out of the place in Delray.
Delray, my friend's place.
Cabana, you did a great investigative job on that.
Cabana El Rey. Things get blown out of proportion. Things get embellished. When she said, we were in the middle of appetizers, they actually there for almost an hour and a half and ate their full meal. Again, I guess because I was a reporter and the old Lou Grant, I heard the Lou Grant reference this morning, the Lou Grant admonition to, if your mother says she loves you, check it out. And that's one of those things is, you always got to kind of, go in, not with a full BS detector. You don't want to think everybody is just lying and making everything up, but you do have to question some things. And did it really go down that way? And I think these posts were reminders in the last week that just because somebody says something on the internet doesn't mean it's true or that it happened in the way that they presented. Always remember that it's better to hear all sides. And in this case, now people just DM me. I heard from the manager in question by DM. I heard from the original poster of the thing at Toulouse. She ended up taking it down on her own. Turns out,
was it partially, fabricated that story?
I don't know, but all I know is people were questioning her behavior that night, and also allegations that she threw a glass. And her version of it on the post was that her purse knocked over a glass as they were on their way out. But
so
there were apparently some words between the manager who may have said some things in a.
It'd be like the Housewives of Beverly Hills complaining that there was a piece of broken glass after they had been throwing drinks in each other's faces for like a half hour on TV.
I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. All I know is that if it gets to the level where both the person who had the incident and posted about it and the manager are both DMing me about their size. It's like, oh my God, I didn't sign up for this. I don't get paid for this. Can somebody just like remove the post and let me get on with it?
Have you ever had a drink thrown in your face? I can't recall for all the stuff that I've had happen to me. I've had a lot of different things happen, and especially in relationships. But
I'm gonna say
I don't think I've ever had a drink thrown in my face. Lubie, what about you?
Oh no,
I
never understand that.
Could it happen where you insulted some guy in a restaurant that owned the restaurant, and then he came by and just splashed you in the face with a?
I'm gonna say not related to my food writing, food critic duties.
Oh,
but
okay.
I think at one point, maybe it was either a female or somebody. Somebody might have
that I can see.
Somebody might have dumped a drink on me at some point in my life, but like a lot of things, it's very hazy. Hey, we got to take our another break.
It's a perfect way to go to a break. Yeah, I mean, and tout someplace that you would want to go to.
Well, place I want to go to tonight and celebrate 100,000, if Facebook ever lets us get there, is one of our longest and biggest supporters, and maybe the place that's been commented on and posted about in Let's Eat South Florida more than any other venue in South Florida. You know what I'm talking about. My favorite place, Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's been there for 74 years, since 1949. Stu the Alley family has been running it for, 3 generations now, and they're doing a great job. We love Jack and his sons, Joe and Jackson. They'll take great care of you. Tropical Acres is at 2500 Griffin Road, just west of I-95 and the Fort Lauderdale International Airport. They are known for their steaks and prime rib and, of course, seafood items. Like, it's going to be summertime soon, and you'll get that twin lobster special. You can get twin lobster tails this time of year. They have good deals on that. And, of course, tonight is Tuesday. That means it's half-price wine night, one of my favorite things when I'm drinking. And I guess I'll be drinking 20% of the time now. But Tropical Acres also has the half-price happy hour in the bar from 4:30 to 6:30. You can't beat those deals. Half-price drinks and great light bites like the sliders, the escargot, coconut shrimp. You go to Tropical Acres, you'll get great value, great service, great quality. I love the place. Tropical Acres, tell them that Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox crew sent you. And don't forget, they have the Butcher Shop, like the dining room, open Monday through Saturday. They're closed on Sundays, but you can run in there and get a couple of steaks to throw on the grill starting at 10 a.m. Monday through Saturday. Love those fillets, the way they cut them, barrel cut. It is perfect for home cooking. Tropical Acres, tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
It's only a matter of time, too, before Mike Mayo becomes a Muslim here on the show with his religious confusion that he's experiencing. And,
it is Ramadan, which means I would not be eating during daylight hours.
There you go. Yeah, if you practiced all religious, I guess, what would it be? Practices, and all of their tenets, you would never eat. You'd find a way to never eat. It would be great.
Or you would
come back with more. That would make for a boring show, though. All right. So we'll come back with more in a moment.
Hey, it's Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Oh, we're back on the Lunchbox. I keep hitting refresh. It keeps saying 99.9. I was hoping it would happen on the air here. I'm approving some people now, and nope, still. All right, and I want one of these damn 100-gram bars, so I'm going to open.
Go ahead, down one. You haven't eaten on the show for a while outside of the remotes that we do.
I had a Hummintosh.
You've been very lame at home. Yeah, well, that was a special occasion.
Don't say lame. I'm trying to treat my body with the respect it deserves. I don't.
I was thinking about you on my walk of life last night. I was thinking we got to get this kid in shape. Just a little consistency.
But there's got to be.
But it's a self-determination. In other words, it's always easy to blow off what you think is going to be beneficial to you, but you have to make yourself do it. That's all. I mean, you just have to. 56. I mean, you're climbing there, Mike Mayo. You should be.
There's a way to eat and be healthy, and that's the medium we have, and drink as well. And there's that's where we have to get to.
Unlike Don Lemon, I believe you're in your prime at 56.
Thank you.
What was your favorite candy bar? Did you like a Clark bar? Did you like a Clark bar by any chance?
I like Chunky. Chunky was my Chunky.
Snickers.
Butterfingers. Chunky was great, but it was too small, so you would opt for like a larger chocolate bar.
You get that. When they made those bigger Chunkies, then they had like 4 pieces you could break it off. But I would.
Who's the guy? Arnold Stang. What a chunk of chocolate! He was the guy.
So Lubie is right. I'm sorry. No, I don't remember Arnold Stang.
You should. He was a classic actor.
I also don't remember who delivered the sandwich in. Was it Night Moves?
Oh, it's Vincent Schiavelli. Night Shift was the name of the movie. Yeah,
Night Shift.
But you would remember Schiavelli.
How is it
possible
then that in the cast lineup of Night Moves listed on whatever it is, IMDb, that
none of those guys that were in Night Shift,
a cast member as the guy who delivered a sandwich in a movie that you said it wasn't. That both those
might have
movies,
been. It wasn't as spectacular a delivery one. You don't remember that scene where he rubs the mustard on the wall? I mean, that should be actually above everything in Let's Eat South Florida. Schiavelli and Keaton says to him, "Hey, this sandwich is supposed to have no mustard," and he takes a sandwich and he rubs the mustard on the wall and he says, "There's your sandwich with no mustard." Classic, man.
I never saw the movie.
It sounded like the manager at Toulouse in that beef that was going on about the glass. I mean, it epitomizes everybody that complains about restaurants there in the service.
So Lubie is right about the 100-gram bar, that the caramel they use isn't that like thin stuff that pulls away. It's this thick, chewy caramel.
There you go.
And it's
you have all your teeth. You want to check?
Well, the thing is, I could lose a couple of fillings on this one, so I don't know if I want to go any further with that. But we'll just wait. And meanwhile, the show is over. I didn't really get to talk about my trip to Aruba or Deccan Spice. We'll save that for tomorrow. I do want to talk about our friends at Visit Lauderdale.
Yes,
and Nikki Mohan. March is here. March is International Women's Month, so we're on the hunt for some that restaurants that are owned, operated by women, and we want to spotlight some of them. We're going to be coming up with some places to visit.
Let's go to Bubbles and Pearls. I missed that one.
Well, we were there. We've already done it, and there are so many restaurants, as we know from everyone every dish under the sun. That there's 4,000 restaurants, more than 4,000 in the greater Fort Lauderdale area. So we're going to spotlight some other women-owned businesses. Maybe another one I'm thinking of in Wilton Manors. Carol Moran has been a long-time fixture in that community. She's gone back and forth to New York a couple of times, but she and her partner are now operating a place called, I think it's Apartment 9F, and it's also a nice, funky little place where you get some light bites and some drinks. I'm thinking of that one. I might try to call up Carol and see if we could get in there with Nikki Mohan this month in Wilton Manors, and then also we'll go venture out and find I know there's a great place. El Guanaco gets a huge response. Have you ever been there? It's on Prospect Road in Fort Lauderdale.
No, I have
El
not.
Guanaco. Combination Mexican and Salvadoran places that's owned and operated by 2 women. And I think that's a perfect one. So I'm going to
there you go. Let's go.
Trying to hit them. I'm just spitballing here because
it's okay.
See,
that's when you're at your best with a Bloody Mary in your system. But
they really epitomize Visit Lauderdale. So I would love
places like this that you could find them all over the place, and that's why we love Greater Fort Lauderdale. Visit Lauderdale. We welcome everyone under the sun, the culinary explorers, cocktail connoisseurs, craft beer aficionados. Come one, come all. This is the best time of the year. Get ready to savor every flavor, every moment. Besides being International Women's Month, I think next month we got the Tortuga Festival coming up. So a lot of people will be coming into town for that. And we're going to be, obviously, the spring breakers are here. And I was up in Lauderdale by the Sea over the weekend. Man, it's rocking and rolling. Our friends,
I was on the beach yesterday. I tell you what, forget looking at the seagulls, man. Yeah. It was just a parade of young babes, one after another, one direction and the other. It was great.
Parade of pulchritude. How's that for an SAT word?
Goodness, yes. To be young again, my friend.
And also some young hunks, too, for those who are so the male species. Yeah. So dockside dining with breathtaking views, lively cafes along Las Olas Boulevard, award-winning chefs serving up every cuisine imaginable. There's a world-class culinary scene here. Come stay and play. Explore our thrilling nightlife scene, the Visit Lauderdale L Trail, and all these things. A never-ending culinary and libation celebration, Greater Fort Lauderdale. Everyone's invited. For more information about all the upcoming events, promotions, deals, please go to visitlauderdale.com. All right. There we go.
I got a variation on the theme here because the revolution will be televised, Mike Mayo.
Yes, you
are. Tom T. Yes. I think Tom T's expressed some interest.
Yes.
Maybe he can.
And Tom T's coming south around Hillsborough and Federal
on Saturday. He's in your neck of the woods. That's exciting. I mean, for those of you, there is nothing better than a real Louisiana crawfish boil. Wow. You just get a whole bunch of mess of paper, newspapers, put them on a picnic table, get a whole mess of paper towels, you dump out that bucket of crawdads with the potatoes and the corn and all that good spice.
Anchors Away bar.
It's a bar.
Place. Yeah.
Anchors Away
but
bar.
He's going to have other stuff. I asked him that on the Let's Eat thing that he put his post up, and he's going to have his other stuff there. So that's perfect for me.
That's
perfect.
Hope he brings some muffaletta. Yeah, I love it. All right, we love Tom T. Thanks to everybody for tuning in again, and we'll see you again tomorrow. This is a tease. It's known as a stretch out that we mentioned Aruba Beach Cafe and Deck and Spice that I went there in the last week, and I've had really positive experiences at both places. So we'll tell you more about that tomorrow's show. Thanks for tuning in today. For Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz, this is Mike Mayo saying, enjoy every sandwich.